Welcome to the STG Warriors podcast. In today's episode, we'll be in conversation with Miss Ann Kozma. Miss Kozma is the Educator Innovation Lead at Flipgrid. With over 19 years of experience as a former teacher on special assignment and a classroom teacher, Miss Ann enjoys helping others learn meaningfully through integrating technology into teaching and learning. She is a member of the Apple Distinguished Educator Class of 2015 and Leading Ed certified as a professional learning leader. She's passionate about education technology and amplifying student voice. Welcome to the podcast, Miss Ann.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here and honored that you wanted me to be on your podcast. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Ann, for agreeing to be part of this podcast. To help our audience to audibly visualize the whole conversation, can you please tell us where are you right now? What is the weather like outside? And what can you see from your window right now?
Oh my goodness, that's an awesome way to start. Yes, I am currently in Greenville, South Carolina, which is on the Atlantic coast of the United States. And I'm sitting in my best friend's living room with a warm cup of coffee next to me. And when I look out the window, I see a gorgeous sunny blue sky. It's morning here. The day is just beginning. And there are big old green trees because it is late spring in the South, and it's just absolutely gorgeous outside today.
Well, that's great to hear, Miss Ann. Back here in South India in Bangalore, it's super chilly, and right now outside my window, I can see those beautiful gray clouds. I think it's going to rain today.
Oh my gosh. Well, stay warm.
Absolutely. What does a typical day in the life of Miss Ann Kozma look like?
Yeah, this is a great question, and it's sort of routine these days. I feel like I wake up, I try and go on a walk, I have a cup of coffee, and then I immediately head to social media. Part of my job is to engage with the community, and I think of our community as family and friends. And so I'm checking in on every social channel, connecting with folks around the world, eventually head to my laptop, things like emails, meetings, head back to social media, check in. The day often has lots of virtual connections. I work and collaborate with my teammates on Microsoft Teams. So I might be on a Teams call or working with them on a project. If I'm lucky, I try and sneak in an afternoon walk. There's a whole bunch of texting going on, but I'm really trying to work in some creative time and more play time into my days. I'm trying to do more of that as I explore some new tools that you might be seeing in Flipgrid later this summer. If I'm lucky, I remember to have lunch. And if I'm really, really lucky, I get to relax at night and watch the sunset or go on a walk and hang out with a friend or talk to my family. So busy but good is how every day looks.
It all sounds so wonderful, forming those human connections. That's the main part of your day, and it's so very exciting. Well, we all want to know, how did Ann Kozma's childhood look like?
I love this question. As I think back, I had a happy childhood. I guess I would describe it as carefree. I remember riding my bicycle all day long until the streetlights came on. My mom had this foghorn that she would blow at sundown. And no matter where you were in the neighborhood, that was the signal to come home. I loved school as a child. I had incredible teachers. I loved reading. I remember going to the library at school and getting lost in the adventure of books and stories. I was really involved in sports. I played soccer and tennis and did gymnastics growing up. So if I wasn't at school or doing things with my family or friends, I was definitely at a sporting event. It was happy. It was carefree, and it was. I feel fortunate to. I love my family. I have an incredible mom and dad and an awesome sister. So we probably just played all day when we could.
I can so resonate with your childhood right now. I too am an avid book reader, and doing gymnastics when I was in first grade, I used to be very excited to do gymnastics and learn how to cartwheel. I haven't learned that right now, but that's something on my to-do list as well.
Oh, that's awesome, Samar. Keep trying. Don't keep trying with that.
Absolutely. Well, Miss Anne, what is your gift and when did you discover your gift? Can you audibly visualize the experience for our listeners?
Yeah, this is a great question. And as I was thinking about this, you stumped me. I was like, what is my gift? Do I even know what my gift is? And when I think about it, I come back to the passion that I have for people and the love that I have for people. And I don't remember this, but it's a story my dad has told me that we were out as a family on a walk or something, and I was collecting flowers and just picking flowers, in the grass as we were going along the way. And we met up with some people, probably also out on a walk, and the lady commented, "Well, that's a lovely bouquet of flowers." And my dad tells me that my immediate response was, "Oh, I picked them for you." And I didn't know this woman, but it was something that probably would make her smile or bring her joy. And I think that's probably what my gift is just to love people and to hopefully cheer them on, be a champion for them, encourage them, share a smile, and let them know they mean something and they matter. So I think that's probably, it comes from a memory my dad has, but that to me is just something special I keep inside my heart when I think about what do I do well? I think I love people well.
That's so amazing to hear. You've been spreading sunshine and happiness in the world since your childhood. Well, Miss Anne, what makes you smile?
Oh, goodness. I think I've hinted at this. I am an experiential learner, so I love shared adventures with people. And this is making me smile right now, getting to talk to you and see your face on this call and share this experience with you. Going on adventure with family or friends. I love to travel, and pre-COVID, I love to experience new places and look around at the architecture and meet new people and experience food and celebrate the diversity of rich cultures around the world. Things that also bring me a smile are sunsets, seashells, flowers. I love going to the beach. I grew up in Southern California, being able to go to the Pacific Ocean and catching a sunset at the beach. Just small things. There's going on a walk and looking at the nature or watching a tree change throughout the seasons. So whether it's a grand adventure or a small moment, I just try and find the beauty of wherever I am and experience that, and that makes me smile.
Absolutely. Finding those little hidden meanings in those small things, that's something that we all are learning, especially during this pandemic, and discovering and finding new adventures every day. Well, Miss Anne Kozma is known for spreading happiness and sunshine in the world. Is there something that dims the sunshine and makes Anne sad? What does Miss Anne do to rejuvenate and get back her spark?
Yeah, and this is a great question. And as I was thinking about this, I do want to say, even though I tend to be a little bit loud, I have a big personality. I describe my mom as a firecracker, and some people might describe me as a firecracker too. I also really try to find the balance between life. And so it's not always sunshine and rainbows and lollipops. It is a time there are times of quiet and still and calm and peace. And a work-life balance as an adult is very hard to find sometimes, but you have to work for it. And I try and prioritize that. So I know my internal gauge. If I haven't had a break in a while, I probably start to get grouchy and grumpy and realize I need to take a break. I think that, if it dims my sunshine is when I don't let myself stop come to zero and just slow down. And oftentimes when I do that, I will just be quiet and be still and be by myself if I can for an entire day. I have always worked hard and played hard, but the older I get, the more I realize rest is just as important as all the fun and adventure too.
That's a great takeaway for all our listeners today, that the world will keep going round and we'll get lots of opportunities, but we surely do need to rest and give our minds some time to think and rejuvenate. Miss Anne, what according to you is voice?
Oh goodness, I love this question. It is somebody's unique expression of themselves. It is what makes them them and the way they project it into the world. And voice, not always can be heard. Maybe it's the way you move or dance or create a piece of art. It's the way that you do your hair or your makeup or your clothes. It's your unique expression, and it's you sharing you with others. I love that question, Samar. It's the celebration of each unique individual. That to me is voice.
Well, voice is a unique expression, and in today's diverse world, voice has become very important. Well, a question just hopped into my mind. Flipgrid is all about empowering student voice, but as I grow up and see the environment around me, see the community, I witnessed that a lot of adults don't have a voice. So what happens between childhood and adulthood that people lose their voice?
Wow, that's a big question. I don't know if there's a right answer to it. I don't know if there's one way to answer this. There's probably lots of ways that we could explore this question. I think sometimes people might get lost in the busyness of responsibilities, and sometimes the carefree approach we might take in our childhood sort of takes a back seat or gets dimmed a little bit when things become routine and rote and, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this. This work responsibility takes precedence or priority. And so things just shift and as you get older. But I think a lot of folks are finding new ways to reconnect with themselves. And maybe it's as a result of COVID time and a pandemic where we had a lot more time, whether you were in lockdown or quarantine, to remember simple joys or explore something that you were uniquely interested in, and finding ways to create or express yourself. But I think that as we all get older, sometimes the plate is loaded up with responsibility instead of adventure and fun. So I think that's why I come back to trying to advocate for make sure you play even as an adult and continue to look at things as an adventure or through a lens of fun and joy so that you don't lose yourself in the process of growing old. And I think of my grandfather. He lived until his mid-90s, and he, even as he became an older man, always said age is a mindset. And he never felt old and he never acted old. And I think that's the model I've had through him, through my mom. And hopefully I can encourage people to stay young and feel young and have fun and be themselves no matter what age.
I remember having a conversation with Miss Kathy. She always told us to play to learn. So that is something that we all live by. And recently I had watched this short film of Alike, in which adults lose their color due to the busyness of life. And that's exactly what he told us. Age is a mindset, and that's a big takeaway for our audience today. Miss Anne, in a world where we have a concept of student voice, student choice, and student agency, and a ton of applications that support this vision, where does the concept of adult voice, choice, and agency fit in?
Well, that's a great question too. And I think goodness gracious, the way that people approach their work or approach their life or approach interactions with other people, I absolutely believe in the mission of Flipgrid to empower every person on the planet to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. And so whether you're a student in school or an adult engaging with others in your professional community or even out in your personal life, I think if we all approach the world engaging with each other in a sense of, hey, my voice matters and so does yours. We might not always agree, but I'm going to show you the respect and kindness you deserve. That is a good way for us all to approach the way we do work and engage with others. So the voice, the choice, the agency, I also think is the way we choose to engage and interact with others. And when you show respect to others, they show respect back. And so that just perpetuates a healthier cycle for everything, right? I think in regards to the agency, knowing that each person and their actions can contribute to the greater good of humanity, that's something that, goodness gracious, if we all could do that and really lived with a better together mindset, I think the world would be a different place.
Respect and listen. Those are great takeaways. The biggest skill that we all must learn today and perhaps through this lockdown is acceptance.
Absolutely.
Miss Anne, we all love the vision and mission of Flipgrid to empower every voice. What's something that surprised you about Flipgrid?
Oh goodness, I love this question. I was using Flipgrid as an instructional coach in my district and had the opportunity to go in and do a lot of trainings and model for teachers and students how to use it. And then when I became an educator innovation lead on the team, I like to say my job is a teacher helping teachers. And I immediately was overwhelmed in the best way with all of the unique, individual, creative, amazing, innovative ways that folks are using Flipgrid, ways I would have never even imagined. So my good friend and colleague, Jornay Armand, always says, if you can think it, you can Flipgrid it. And that's absolutely true. And even though it's surprising, it's not surprising because it just speaks to the endless imagination and creativity and possibility of every unique person and the way they choose to express themselves. So I think that's the best, most surprising thing about Flipgrid is it really truly has endless possibilities for the ways that you can use it.
And it is the exact place where every lifelong learner would want to be because you will have so many learnings from Flipgrid. And yes, Flipgrid models creative expression. So I wanted to know from you, from all those different learnings, what is the last thing that you learned in Flipgrid and in general as well?
Yeah, so I just constantly keep exploring new creative storytelling possibilities. And I am exploring new ways to use the camera options and effects inside of Flipgrid. I've been exploring some graphic design with text boxes. I just think what I keep learning in Flipgrid is that creative possibility. And I can't give anything away, but I can give a hint that we have some incredible new features coming to the Flipgrid camera soon that people are going to just love. And I am so excited for us all to continue to explore creative storytelling possibilities.
Absolutely. Storytelling is a skill that we all need to learn even better. And we are so excited that even better features are coming to Flipgrid. It's already so good with all the GIFs, with all the frames, with all the filters that students can express themselves. Now I wonder what else could it be? Well, Miss Anne, what is the one common misconception that you would like to debunk about your profession?
Yeah, this is a great question. And I think I could look at this in a few different ways, but I'm going to take it through the lens of an educator. And educators, I say this all the time. Educators bring the heart and hustle every single day. Teachers show up every single day. Teachers never give up on students. Teachers work so hard. And I often think teachers just give, and oftentimes have a hard time separating and resting and relaxing. And so I know the misconception sometimes in the adult world is, well, educators don't work on weekends. They don't have to work on holidays. They have an entire summer break. And that's not true. Teachers work all the time. They don't stop working. They work at night. They work after school. They work every weekend. They work every holiday. They work all summer long, and they never give up. And I want to always champion educators and cheer for them and root them on, because they are heroes every single day doing the work to empower every future generation. Anyone who becomes an engineer, a scientist, a doctor, somebody who works in auto mechanics, or somebody who's working in the food service industry. Everybody in some way has been impacted by a teacher. And so I want to cheer them on and say, nope, they don't take it easy. They don't rest. They do keep going for the good of everyone. So I want to always cheer for them and say, nope, teachers don't give up. So if you think they do, or you think they're resting on all those breaks, they're not. They're working for their learning communities.
With my mom being a teacher, I can vouch for that. It is truly difficult to be a teacher. It requires a lot of persistence and a lot of resilience. Miss Anne, we would like to know, what is success in your definition?
Yeah, this is a great question. I do not measure success by things. I don't measure it by a fancy car. I don't measure it by money in a savings account. I don't measure it with stuff. To me, success means, is my heart happy? Am I satisfied with a job well done? Am I proud of the work that I am doing? Am I proud of the impact I have, or the way that I'm helping others? That's how I measure success. And even in my classroom with my students, and I was a first grade teacher, and I remember having conversations about, hey, it doesn't matter if you have a gold star on your paper. It matters inside your heart if you're proud of yourself. Are you satisfied with a job well done? Are you happy with the work that you did? And to me, that's how I measure success, more so than what I have or the money that I earn, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. As a student, I can relate this with the marks, that whenever a student gets good marks, if he's constantly getting the same grade, I won't be happy if I would be getting that. But if my grades change from something bad to something good, I can see that there's some progress happening, and I can see that there's some learning happening. And whenever I get up and go ahead and learn new things, that is when the true happiness comes from inside. Thank you so much for sharing that, and we can so resonate as students. Well, Miss Anne, failure is the stepping stone of success. What has been your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, this is a great question too. These are incredible questions. I am so impressed. This, as I was thinking about it in terms of failure, I know I mentioned earlier, I'm an experiential learner. And so I come back to opportunities that I missed, or opportunities I said no to. And thinking about them as failures, I might not quantify it as a failure, but I think often about those things that were missed and what that could have meant for me, or how that would have changed my path or the trajectory of my life or the work that I do. And so the lessons you learn from things like that, the biggest lesson I've learned is you cannot live in the land of what if. You cannot get stuck on what could have been. I love to learn forward. And so what I mean by that is, even if I try something and I don't get it right, or I fall flat on my face, it means I'm moving forward. And the biggest takeaway is to get up and keep going. So the failures are, to me, the missed opportunities. And there have been some big ones in my life, whether it was a decision to move overseas, to take a job, or relationships with people that changed. I think about those, and I think about how that might have shifted things, but I don't want to get stuck in what could have been. I want to look forward and keep going forward.
Grab each and every opportunity, whether you get it right or you get it wrong, at least you attempted and you're not lying in that land of what if. Failures are learnings, and those are new lessons learned. Well, Miss Anne, back in the days when Anne did not know about this fantastic tool Flipgrid, what did she do to empower student boys in her class through Anne Magic? What were some of the tools then as part of Anne's toolbox?
Oh, Samar, get ready for this story. So we can pick up a mobile device and know that it's a powerful tool with a camera, a microphone, all these creative possibilities. But back in the day when I first got some innovative technology in my classroom, there was no camera on the device. This was the first generation of iPod Touch, and we would plug in these teeny tiny little microphones because you could not take a picture, you could not take a video. And to me, that first little itty bitty microphone was what changed everything. And we explored the power of voice. And the voice, and every unique person sharing their voice, was that first powerful tool that we really used to transform the way we showed what we know and showcased what we know. And then we started with some new apps. There were comic book style creator apps. I used to use an app called 30 Hands, which we could use an inking tool and make little videos and record our voice, but there were no videos. It was like a moving slide video, right? We used to use, goodness gracious, Pic Collage, which is still one of my favorite apps to this day. I can create anything inside of Pic Collage. And then as we got newer technology, we started exploring things like iMovie and Adobe Spark. And that was before you could put a video inside of Adobe Spark. And so very quickly, I moved from creating things, goodness gracious, into, graphic elements and videos that had those interactive features. And I was lucky to find Flipgrid when I was in my school district so that I could share with everybody that I knew, because it has all of those elements inside of it. And it's one tool to do many, 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 many things. And so I think back, we started with capturing voice, and I would upload it to our Google Drive as an audio file, and I would save it and go to a QR code generator and one by one make a QR code, and we would stick book reviews in our books, or we would stick them on a chart as we were doing a science experiments and sharing our reflections with audio. So fun ways to use our voice, because that was the most fantastic tool from back in the day, and it's still the most fantastic tool today. Partnered with Flipgrid, it's my favorite.
Well, I'm feeling so excited right now, and you've always been so creative. I would have loved to be a part of your class, Miss Anne.
Oh, it would have been a joy to have you, and I'm so glad that I get to call you a collaborator right now, and we can learn together still.
So, to maintain the tempo, we are going to go ahead with the second segment of the podcast, which is the fun round come the rapid fire round. Are you ready, Miss Kozma?
Ready. I don't know what to expect, but I'm ready.
Absolutely. Now, this is going to be full of imagination, everything crazy and everything magical.
Okay.
So, now I want you to imagine that this whole world is completely full of crayons, and we all represent different crayons. We all are different colors. And you, Miss Anne, are a new addition to this crayon box. Now, which color would you choose to be?
Oh my gosh, I some kind of purple, like punky purple, or I don't know, sunshine fuchsia, like a purple, a pink, like, you know, that gorgeous color in the sunset that is the brightest one that just kind of sparkles. I don't know, something fun.
Well, if you were a part of the superhero universe and you could choose to be any superhero, which one would you be?
Oh my gosh. Somebody who could fly, definitely. I've always wanted that ability. And maybe just, I don't know, flying from here to there to spread love and sunshine and smiles. So something like that. I don't have a superhero name yet. I'll have to think about that.
Wow, I can imagine you as a superhero, and you already are spreading so much of positivity. I cannot imagine if you had the power to fly, what all wonders you would do, Miss Anne. So, Miss Anne, if you could choose a song to be a background music for your whole life, which song would you choose?
Oh, I love this song. I think it's by Andy Grammer that says, "It's good to be alive right about now." And it has a funky beat. You can kind of dance to it, but it just reminds me it's good to be alive right about now. And that means every time is the right time.
I'm surely going to go back and listen to that song. Well, Miss Anne, thank you so very much for your time. As we near the end of the episode, we come to the next segment and the last segment of the podcast of the most important questions. Miss Anne, who or what have been your biggest inspiration in life?
I love this question, and I'm going to say my mom. She was my first teacher, my favorite teacher. She was also an educator for her career, working with students who had special needs or learning disabilities, and she always taught me and still teaches me to find and look for the joy in life. She has never given up in her own life, even when she has faced struggle or adversity. She has beaten breast cancer 2 times in her life and has always approached hard times with nothing but faith, hope, and love. And so she has been my biggest inspiration, and I love her so much.
Absolutely. Moms are great role models, and they are excellent people to follow. They guide you, and they are the best people in the world according to their children. So, Miss Anne, what words of inspiration were given to you that you would like to pass along to others?
Yeah, there are so many words of inspiration, but one that's coming to me right now was told to me by a colleague when I was first starting my journey in education technology. And he said, if you don't tell your story, someone else will. And this gentleman's name is Ted Lai, and he was an inspiration for me as I was exploring how to be innovative and use technology in meaningful ways to transform teaching and learning. And I think those words, if you don't tell your story, someone else will, really has inspired me in the way that I share ideas on social media or I celebrate other people on social media, because you get to own the narrative of you and who you are in this great big world. And if you don't do that, somebody else will, and it might not be authentic to who you really are.
If you don't tell your story, someone else will. I'm sure that this will truly develop all our personalities who are listening to this podcast today, Ms. Ann. Well, now we come on to the question, can there truly be a free choice and voice culture in the world?
Yeah, and this is another one of those big questions that probably can be debated in so many different ways or explored through different lenses and perspectives. And to me, I say, yes, I hope so. And I come back to the mission of the work that we're doing at Flipgrid to empower every person to share their voice and respect the diverse voices of others. So I truly believe that every person, as their own human right, should have the ability to make their own choices and use their voice. And I think I mentioned earlier, even if you don't agree with somebody, that doesn't mean that they're any less. I learned when I was 18 years old a lesson. I went on a 6-week mission trip to Poland and was this young 18-year-old person digging in the dirt and mud every day to help lay the foundation of a building. Different is different, not better or worse. And that has stuck with me. And so a difference of opinions or a difference of the way we share our voices are different in choices that we make. It doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's different. And I have learned to celebrate that diversity and to celebrate the difference that each of us brings. But everybody absolutely deserves the same right and respect. And so I am hopeful that together we can all keep working towards this free voice and choice culture in the world.
We have this a similar topic of such in our syllabus in political science. We had learned that 3 years back, and this topic was tested in our exam, and we were given a question to showcase our country in a very different way, and we had to write an answer in the form of a big paragraph. So I remember that I love art, so I'd written that this world or India is a big canvas in which every person represents a different color, every person represents a different stroke, a different tint, etc. And when all those tints and colors come together, they make a beautiful painting, and that painting is India. Now that I have listened to your vision, I can combine that and I can say that the whole world is a painting in itself, where every voice is a different tint, a different shade, but all those shades, when they come together, they make the world a better place to look at.
Samar, you were saying the most incredible thing about every person being a different tint and a different part of that beautiful canvas. And so extending from India to folks all around the world, I think that's an absolutely gorgeous way to think about how together we can change what the picture is, right? We can change that beautiful canvas. So I love the way you described that. Spreading from you and one person wherever you are on the map to me as another person on the map, but together in the bigger picture. It's absolute beauty amidst the difference, right? I love this.
Yes, that's the best part about connecting with people from different parts of the world, that you get to extend your learning and think globally. Well, Miss Anne, we come to the last question of the podcast, but yet the most important one. As children, how can we change the world?
I love this. And thinking about how every young person is the future. You are our future. And it starts by sharing your voice and realizing your ideas, your words matter and they hold weight. And I just want to encourage every young person out there to explore, to wonder, to dream big, because you are the future and we need you. And that's every future profession, everybody working in whatever capacity they're working in, whether you go to school or you go to a job or career, you are making decisions that will impact us all. And I always told my students, when I'm a little old lady, you're the one who's going to be ruling the world, and the decisions you make will impact me in my old age. So I think, just know, all of you out there are making a difference by dreaming, by doing, by sharing. And something like this, Samar, you're sharing big ideas with an audience all over the world. And you and your friends and your classmates, by exploring big ideas and entering into conversations with people outside of your immediate community, that's making the world a smaller place. And it's helping your voice reach new places. So don't ever underestimate the power of your voice and the power that it has to make a change for the better.
The biggest learning that we have from this podcast is that voice is a huge thing. It might be a very feeble voice, or it can be a very loud voice. But those voices can cross geographical boundaries, and they can actually dissolve all those boundaries which have been created due to the borders of different countries. Just like we are doing over here, your voice, ma'am's voice, and my voice. We have come together to break those boundaries and connect with each other. Just like that, if every person follows the same thing and connect with each other, they can use their voice to make the world a better place. Thank you so much, Miss Anne, for being part of the SDG Warriors podcast. You exemplify empowering student voice and choice, a superhero spreading positivity and sunshine in the world. Thank you so much for being a part of our small journey.
Oh my gosh, Samar, thank you so much. And to all the SDG warriors, you are change makers. Your voice matters, and you inspire me more than you will ever know. So thank you for asking me to be on your podcast. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you.